We have an opportunity right now to speak with Ann Coulter. And Ann, I couldn't find you on Twitter last night. Are you like shadow banned or something?
No, actually, I wasn't going to watch the Democratic debate. I figured it would be boring. Went to a dinner party with liberals, lots of comedians, and we watched it on delay. So I did tweet a little bit later, but it was totally off the timing. I think the debate was over by the time we started watching.
Oh, yeah. I think it was worth the price of admission.
It was funner than I thought.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I mean, the hispandering that went on, it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Although, what was Marco Rubio doing on the stage?
A good question, except he wasn't on the stage.
Talking about abortion for transgenders. How does that work?
I don't know, but it's reproductive justice. Don't you understand? You're a lawyer. I don't even know what that meant, but apparently he got a lot of Google searches yesterday, and so did Cory Booker, although I would have to say Elizabeth Warren won that debate, if you could call it a win.
I think it depends. The Drudge polls have historically been pretty accurate. They're taken immediately after debates, and it was certainly what everyone and like I say, there were some liberals watching with me, and we all agreed that Tulsi had won, followed by that guy from Baltimore, and I forget who our third choice was. Maybe Klobuchar. And those were the ones, I checked a couple hours later, and those were the ones who were definitely winning on the Drudge poll. But then I get up this morning and I see, oh my gosh, is MSNBC pushing the three craziest, DeBlasio, Warren, and Castro, of course, the one I thought was Marco Rubio. It occurs to me that cable news is not only not good for the country, it's not good for the two parties they appear to be supporting.
Oh, I think you're right. I mean, the deference with which Elizabeth Warren was treated last night was astounding.
There's a question to her, a question to somebody else, then they come back to her. They were definitely treating her like the queen, which I guess makes some sense since she was, I gather, from the candidates on stage last night, she was the one at the top of the polls, and you don't want to waste a lot of time on people who are polling at 0.1%. Sure, totally understand that. But to be pushing, it's striking to me that the three craziest on the stage last night are the ones being pushed by MSNBC today, whereas people watching at home and voting on the Drudge Report, they agreed with all of us. Tulsi, the Baltimore guy, and maybe even Klobuchar.
Yeah. Well, the big moment of the night was when Julian Castro did his hashtag Adios Trump closing. Like these.
Well, I think it was big only at MSNBC when they were asked at the end, what is the greatest threat facing America? I said to the assembled group, they're going to say Trump. And only one did, and no, he's getting all kinds of, hacky lines designed to elicit applause always make my skin crawl, whether it's a politician, I believe in a woman's right to choose, yay! Or it reminds me of comedians on stage saying, and my wife just had a baby. I just quit smoking, yay! Okay, just get on with the show.
Yeah, no, well, they couldn't. And, then I went on to the business of what's really going on in America today. And I read your article on Town Hall, and I must admit, it gave me a migraine headache because it really did. And my hope is that everyone reads this article. Certainly all my listeners will. But I want to know who the people are at the RNC who literally screwed up so much of the appointments in this first term of Trump's administration. And in particular, as you pointed out, who tried to destroy Chris Kobach?
Yes. That was Trump's central campaign promise. And I believe what put him over the edge, no matter what he said or did, or the Access Hollywood tape, to come along after pretty much 20 years of Republicans trying to push Republicans in Washington, trying to push amnesty on us, the public exploding in rage. We finally get a Republican candidate for president. I mean, Romney was actually pretty good on this when he ran, as you'll recall, and I think your listeners will, but you may not because he's kind of gone nuts too.
Yeah.
But he had the toughest position on immigration and won. I don't know how many different ways voters can indicate we want less and we want illegals sent home and the wall. Okay, it's the single most important campaign promise of Trump's. Everybody assumed, you did, I did, I'm sure Kobach did, and Trump did, that Chris Kobach, who is the man who could have saved America and delivered on Trump's campaign promises, was going to be head of the Department of Homeland Security. Trump interviewed him. There were pictures all over. Everyone just assumed that was going to be part of. When you're voting for Trump, you're getting Kobach at Homeland Security. And then it wasn't Kobach. It's been, as we've all seen in impotent frustration and rage, a series of imbeciles who have managed to engineer the worst immigration crisis in the nation's history, worse than under Obama, worse than it would have been under Hillary, worse than under, Mr. Pro-Amnesty Bush. So Monday, these documents leak, the vetting documents, backgrounders on people Trump was considering from written up by the RNC. And yes, we need their names. Because
yes.
When America is no more, I want to know who to blame. Mm-hmm. And I think future generations will. The backgrounder on Kobach, I just described some of the quotes, outrageous, unbelievable quotes, linking him to white supremacist organizations. And what's their basis for that? I mean, my jaw dropped when I saw that because, as I say in the column, I've been following Kobach for years. He's a genteel, erudite Midwesterner. He went with degrees from Harvard, Yale, Oxford. He's consorting with white supremacists? Whoa, that's news to me. Oh, no. The RNC is citing the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, 100% you and I have been listed as white supremacists and Nazis by the Southern Poverty Law Center forever.
Right.
No, the Southern Poverty Law Center is America's leading hate group. Particularly about hating America and hating Christians. But the idea that it drives people like us crazy when the New York Times cites Southern Poverty Law Center, which they're doing a lot less of, I might add. This is the RNC looking at the Southern Poverty Law Center, and in both cases, what they're describing as a white supremacist group. They're both just immigration groups.
Yeah, exactly. That you and I have spoken in front of all the time, whether it's Center for Immigration Studies or FAIR, the Federation of American Immigration Reform. I mean, come on, guys. That's about as mainstream as it gets.
Not only that, they're all quite namby-pamby compared to the guy who called, Mexican illegal immigrants rapists and then won the election. It's as if the RNC has no idea who the president is, just, slept through the 2016 election. They're denouncing Kobach's tone, which, as I note, is a weapon used exclusively against conservatives, as apparently 17 million people saw last night. The Democrats want abortions for transgenders. They want to fling open the border. They did about a quarter of the debate in Spanish, but look at the things they're calling Trump. I mean, just this week, another loon accuses him of rape. He's called a traitor day in, day out. Liar, liar, liar. But it's only conservatives who ever have their tone questions.
Mm. And, I look at, you got the second in command stepping down, but Kevin McAleen didn't have to. Well, I'm confused.
Yes, I know. It's very frustrating because, part of Trump's problem seems to be that he's just lazy. I think he actually believes the stuff he campaigned on, but, if somebody tells him, well, yeah, we can get this, but you're going to have to make a phone call. I'll just go back to the bedroom and eat cheeseburgers. Okay, he could do that. He could sit on his bed eating cheeseburgers all day and get up on the weekend and go golf if he would just put Kobach at Homeland Security.
Right. Well, even, I was saying to someone last night, when he announced that Jeff Sessions was going to be the Attorney General, if it weren't Kobach, we all presumed it would be Jeff Sessions.
Yeah.
He crafted the immigration policy. It should have been.
I objected, although Sessions was the only member of the cabinet doing anything on Trump's central campaign promises, and I do think it was outrageous how Trump was humiliating his own attorney general. I mean, fire him or don't fire him. Don't keep taunting him and ridiculing him on Twitter. In any event, water under the bridge. When they told me they were going to make Sessions AG, I objected to that. Mm-hmm. That did not seem like the right fit for me. Or for him in the administration. For one thing, I wanted to keep him in the Senate. For another thing, you really were going to need, somebody really, really, really tough as AG. That was going to be a big job. And Sessions' specialty is immigration. If you're going to put him someplace, put him at Homeland, though it should have been Barr as AG from the beginning and Kobach at Department of Homeland Security. And by the way, look at what a difference it makes to put someone like Bill Barr as AG. It would be so much bigger to put Kobach at Homeland. But, you have these RNC morons who seem to think it's still, 2006 or 2000, who knows. They're still pushing the Rubio, Lindsey Graham, McCain, bipartisan, comprehensive immigration, i.e. amnesty. They still think they're pedal to the metal and that's their job, push amnesty. That's the RNC.
Yeah.
And then Trump has surrounded himself with Koch brothers shills in the White House, or even the ones who seem to be good on immigration, apparently don't want any competition, and aren't wild about bringing in people like Kobach who are smarter, more experienced, who ought to be running the show on immigration.
Absolutely, yeah. When I read some of the comments that were in the document, I was going to lose my mind. I mean, talking about things, calling him a hardliner as though that were, a negative. If you've got a president who
laws on the book,
right? If you've got
and stunningly bashing him for he was the one who wrote the Arizona law. 1070. You'll all remember this because it was being denounced far and wide as if it was some sort of Nazi measure. The Papers, Please law. Well, according to the RNC document, Kobach had a lot to do with drafting that, and it was struck down by the Supreme Court. No, actually, Nimrods. It was upheld unanimously.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's crazy. But look at the Supreme Court today. Now we can't ask a citizenship question on the census. I haven't read the opinion yet.
It's not as bad as it looks. I was terrified when I saw that, but it also kind of baffled me. Apparently all they want, this is more of an administrative law decision. They just want, and I could explain it. I mean, maybe I'll write a column to hand it to the administration. But the administration, it is a rules change, and there are things that an administration has to do before making a rules change. But all they did was send it back to the district court saying, you have to explain this better.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope you're right because, I don't need any more depressing news when it comes to how are we going to handle this crisis. At that now, all the people who said it was a manufactured crisis are now claiming is like the biggest crisis ever. So, listen. Yeah. Well, listen, Ann, I hold you and President Trump and myself and FAIR all responsible for the deaths of any illegal immigrants who drown in the Rio Grande, because apparently the media is going to fly with that story, whether I agree or not.
It's so insane. How many times do we have to say, you're turning the magnet on?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a concept for this in the law. It's called an attractive nuisance.
Right.
You can't have like an open refrigerator sitting on a playground where a kid could lock himself in and suffocate. An attractive nuisance. You can't have something that will attract neighborhood kids or even dogs to their death. Our entire country is an attractive nuisance.
Yeah.
We're saying, come here, drag a kid with you, thanks to Judge G, and you get in and we start, paying you for your health care, your dental care. If you don't get blankets with sufficient alacrity,
toothbrushes,
the media will be all over the administration.
Right.
We're begging people to stream in. So yeah, of course, a lot of them are going to die trying to get here.
Yeah, I
Because they're
agree.
irresponsible parents, I might add.
Exactly. Well, read the article. It's in Town Hall today, and you can go to AnnCoulter.com. The Swamp in Action. And for those of us who support this president and his immigration policy, this is really a very disturbing story. Thanks, Ann. I'll talk to you soon.
Good to talk to you, Joyce. Bye-bye.
Always a pleasure. All right, quick break. Wow, WABC.